Wednesday. Everyone should follow her.
That'd be a bad idea.
She's got her shit together in a way that most people around her don't. Yeah. Okay, anyways, for real this time, thank you so much for coming and sitting in this carpeted room with us.
Yay! For an hour and a half.
First of all, I have the mic, which means I have all the power, besides you, which means it'll be as long as I think it should be. So,
10 minutes.
It'll be longer
We're
than
like,
that.
well, that's it, friends. Time to go. No, it's me.
So, theoretically, I've been informed we're here to talk about social media marketing. We know a little bit about that. So we'll talk about it. We're going to definitely touch on it, but
we're going to start off with it going a gentle slope downwards, descending into chaos.
By slope, we mean a spiral.
A spiral.
Yeah.
Should we start with that then?
Spiral.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So we have Instagram is our most popular social network that we have, or actually, would it be YouTube now? Here's what happened.
Here's my first question. Does anybody not know who we are or what we do?
Yeah, Kat doesn't know who we are.
We were right off the street.
Yeah, I guess we should have been like.
No, nobody just wandered in like, what the fuck is this? And because literally occasionally we get messages being like, oh, so you're a coven. Where do you meet? And they think that we're like a coven of actual witches, and I have to gently explain that it's a play on words. So just to verify that you all actually know what the fuck's going on. Okay, excellent, good. So we run a drag social media platform. We take photos of performers. We do full videos, mostly Instagram and YouTube. Instagram was our largest platform for several years until a random video of Roxy Andrews wearing a plaid shirt and walking in circles looking pretty and doing essentially nothing else went viral and suddenly has 13 million views. And we don't know what happened. So YouTube is our largest platform currently.
We were hovering around 30,000 subscribers, and then as soon as the Roxy Andrews video went, we have 75,000 now for no reason.
Yeah. And all the
within
comments,
like 2 weeks.
All the comments are just men leaving their WhatsApp numbers for Roxy, who they think is a stripper.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird. So currently, YouTube is our largest platform. So when we got started, it started as a joke, and it just hasn't stopped.
It's still a
yet.
joke. We're still a joke.
Still largely a joke. But we didn't go into this with like the intentionality of, is intentionality a word?
No.
Yes. I write for a living. Thank you, duly noted. The intention of creating a social media platform. We were used to doing a similar kind of thing to the concerts we used to go to, just like
Lady Gaga.
It was Lady Gaga. It was literally only ever Lady Gaga.
We met outside Lady Gaga's apartment.
That makes it sound so much creepier than it really is.
Did we not?
We did.
Thank you.
Listen, it was the thing where she would tell fans to come and meet her, and she would like kiki with them for like a hot second. And that's where we met. Yeah, because I tried to hand my master's thesis on Lady Gaga to Lady Gaga, and some kid pushed me out of the way, so Jamie like plucked it out of my hands and delivered it for me. And we've been friends ever since. Anyways, so we were
Allegedly.
I don't know.
allegedly.
My favorite thing is to say I don't know when we're wearing matching outfits.
I've never seen this woman.
I don't know where she got
The description of this panel said Courtney Conkers and Friends on it. We're just a little confused by that because I've never done any of this without Jamie, and also Friends. I have precisely one friend.
Wow.
So I don't know. Anyways.
Again, loosely.
Back on track. I just tried to flip my hair and I can't because it's snarled into a singular dreadlock, and I didn't brush it. So anyways. So we started out as literally a joke because we were already taking the pictures and videos just for like our own personal use.
For Lady Gaga.
We both have like mild memory loss. Hers is unexplained. She's an enigma. Mine's from severe chronic migraines. So yeah, she's an enigma. So when we started showing up at more than one show, which also was not a plan, we were just bored because Lady Gaga broke her hip and there was no more tour for us to follow, so we just hopped on Drag Queens instead because we thought it was such a cool thing, and it wasn't something a lot of people we knew were doing at the time.
I watched Drag Race for a long time and got drag shows. Someone didn't start until live.
Listen, I had watched local drag. Helen. Yes.
How long ago was this?
This was 5 years ago. This was like 2014. Should I just tell the story of how we started?
No, please.
Like the
No, I've heard it so many times.
version. Well, that's because you were there.
No, it's because you tell it every time.
Well, I get asked a lot, and you make me do all the interviews.
Yeah, just do it. Just do a short version. I'll just take some water.
Okay. Yeah. Have a snack. Yeah, we should have brought a meal.
I don't have a snack.
I know, that's a problem.
Tell the story.
So we started going to drag shows when Lady Gaga stopped touring. It's our #1 hobby was now gone. And we were like, well, if we're not going to live shows, what do you do on the weekend? What do other people do? Party and drink? No, I was already too old for that.
They sleep.
So we started going to drag shows. I had been to a lot of local drag shows where I lived in this teeny tiny little scene in Canada's capital city, Ottawa. I had never seen Drag Race, and I got bronchitis for 6 weeks, and I was so bored out of my mind that I literally marathoned the entire of Drag Race and All Stars all the way up to season 6, and I caught up, and I told Jamie I'd been watching it, and we immediately were like,
a thing we can do.
We're going to go to these shows
We're
instead
so
because suddenly there's no concerts for us to go to because apparently we don't like any other music.
I like Adam Lambert a lot, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty cool too. So we started going to these shows, but we were so used to dressing up and cosplaying Lady Gaga and just never, like, you don't go to a concert in jeans and a t-shirt, apparently.
You could, but it would hurt my soul.
Yeah, so we were like, well, we'll just do the same thing for these drag queens. And at the time, like, women have always done drag, but there weren't a lot of women in femme-presenting drag or AFAB people in femme-presenting drag in the area that we lived in. We're also from around Toronto in Canada. So when we showed up and we were in drag, or what we thought was drag at the time.
I looked beautiful. I don't know what you're talking about. That one crease line where it's just a line, gorgeous.
Yeah, no blending.
No blending.
My
It was
first drag
beautiful.
outfit was made entirely of pillow fluff, and by the end of the show,
There was no
none
pillow
left.
fluff. It was the bar that we went to. If you looked out on the floor, it was just bits of fluff.
The bar manager sent me
Everywhere.
text messages the next day and said, "Do not come back." It was just fluff
Do not come
all
back.
around the edges of the bar for my outfit, and I was just in like a bra and panties. Like, I don't know where the outfit went. So anyways,
You also glued pieces of candy to it, and me and Randy just took it off and ate it during the night.
with glue
You
on
would
the
turn
back.
around and I'd be like, I'm gonna eat that, thank
Yeah.
you.
So we started cosplaying the queens. We showed up looking like that. And then we always had cameras in our hands. And then it was a thing when we used to do everything with Lady Gaga that if you got to see her, you like brought some kind of handmade little gift, or people would bring her things. And so we kind of made like little appreciation gifts as well. And the fact that we did all of that and then combined it with just like being from Canada, because at the time, and not a lot of the Drag Race girls were coming to Canada.
We have very strict DUI laws, and if you have a DUI, you cannot come into our country for 10 years.
Yeah,
So
so that
some-
eliminates half the
Some of
cast
them,
right there.
stop it. Some of them.
And at the time, 5 years ago, drag wasn't quite as like popular as it is now in more of a, for lack of a better term, mainstream way. So the queens and kings who had not been on Drag Race but were still popular enough to be traveling around, all the kings that someday, who might travel around the U.S. were not coming to Canada. Because you have to pay so much to get someone over the border that the chances of us seeing anybody was nil. So we just said, all right, well, we'll go to them, and we hopped over the border. We looked so fucking weird walking into these events because like nobody else was in drag in the audiences with the exception of actual professional working drag queens. Cosplaying queens was not a thing yet. Not that we started it, we just looked really strange. So when we walked into the meet and greet, these queens would be like, what is this? Like, what do you do? Who are you and what are you doing? And we were like, I don't know,
Just weird.
just showed up in a costume, like, yay. But because also at the time, like, iPhones did not have lovely cameras on them 5 years ago. They were fine, but like, because we were some of the only people holding actual cameras in our hands and taking actual videos and pictures, that's kind of a lot of what piqued the interest of the performers, because it was not like potato quality. And there
Not
were
potato.
There were not a lot of like, I had never been to a drag show until probably 2
Our pictures in the beginning were potato
They were
quality,
potato
don't lie to
quality,
yourself.
but they were clearer potatoes than the average person's like sidekick self.
Potato.
Yeah, they were not. Yeah. So what? So that's how it kind of started. We walked up to a meet and greet, and Bianca Del Rio said, "Oh my goodness, it's my favorite drag hags. Hags are witches. Witches travel in a coven." I went, "Yeah, we're a drag coven," and they were like,
Well, Adore was peeing in a cup behind us.
Dora was peeing in a cup and had drawn a penis on her own face, but the rest of them thought it was a really funny idea. So at the end, they kept asking us, how do we get these pictures from you? Where can we get this media? What do you do with it? And we were literally like,
Nothing.
I don't know. I put it on Facebook. Like, maybe? I don't really do anything. I just like have memory issues, and when I'm 92, it's gonna be cute to be like, remember these cool drag shows I used to go to? Like, that's all we did it for. In Alaska, who is also the reason that I like started looking up like women and AFAB people doing femme drag, because she gave me a kind schooling when she said, "I love your drag," and I thought she thought I was a boy in a wig, and I went, "Oh, I'm not in drag, I'm just a girl in a costume," and she literally went, "I will never hear you say that again." And then she was like, I think I'm gonna be seeing you guys around a lot, so.
And she never saw us again.
She saw us again every 6 weeks for over the next 5 years. She was like, the next time I see you, I want to hear that you're not cosplaying, you are a drag queen, you are performing, you like, if you're gonna do this, because I've seen you on however many shows now, you're gonna do it properly. And we were like, yes ma'am, sorry ma'am, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So she suggested that we make an Instagram to just slap the pictures up because she wanted a couple of them. And we did, so I made it Drag Coven just based on like the inside joke that we told Bianca, and because they were our first followers, it caught the attention of 1 or 2 other people, and then when we put the pictures up, and they were fine quality.
Crisp potatoes.
Crisp potato pictures. For the time, that was acceptable. So they shared them, and when they credited us, other people were like, "Oh, this is a weird thing, we don't know what this is, but if they've got great drag queen pictures, cool," and they followed us, and it kind of just snowballed from there. So we continued just kind of seeing the queens that we were familiar with, and again, at first I was only familiar with Drag Race and my tiny little local scene that I ended up becoming a part of, and I don't think at the time you even had a local scene. Were there?
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Hamilton is,
have a local scene now?
y'all know Detroit, the city? Hamilton is the Detroit of Canada.
Parts of Hamilton are just literally perpetually on fire.
What's smaller than that?
Oh, it's awful.
I'm from outside
Oh
Hamilton.
my god, it's like
What's outside Hamilton?
Kitchener.
garbage
Oh,
surrounding. It's like there's a lake. It's a bit of water and a lot of garbage because
it's like from
we're a
the
steel town
sky.
and like we just dump shit in there.
Yeah.
So like if you put your foot in there, I'm not confident you won't grow another toe.
No, you will. But
You
you might have
will.
better balance if you do. But I still don't recommend it.
Fun fact, I can't feel my pinky toes because I waited too long for Lady Gaga in the cold once. I'm not joking.
Oh my
That's a
God.
true story.
Yeah. I
Who
can't feel them right now.
were we with that asked us what toe we'd be recently? And you said I'd be the baby toes that I can't feel because.
Mama.
Oh yes,
yeah.
that's exactly who it was. Anyways, did you just call her Mama Cass?
I don't know. I don't know where I am.
That's
I'm
what I heard
tired.
most of the papas.
Shut up!
Anyways.
She died eating a sandwich.
So that's how we kind of got into it, and the shows were so much fun, and the queens that we started meeting were so supportive that we kind of just never stopped.
I'm not sure if your microphone, like,
Is my mic not working? Am I just shouting?
Yeah. I think you're just screaming.
Perfect. He said,
Oh, no, I
I
can
saw
hear
this
it.
one yesterday. She doesn't need this mic. I'm just going to hold it and feel cool. But anyways, the more that we started doing it, because we still had to, a lot of people from TV and not TV and of all different kinds come to Canada now. Still not as many as I would personally like, but I don't have the funds to produce my own events yet, so.
But you gotta-
What?
Oh, I said you just have to come to Calgary.
Oh, yeah, I
We're
went
doing all
to
the
in
things.
Calgary
Where was
once,
I?
and it was fantastic. You went with Nina.
To Calgary?
You went to Calgary,
I don't know
Edmonton,
where
but
I
you
was.
told me the wrong one, and I don't know
I
what
don't know
city
where
you're
I was.
actually in.
There was a tower?
Oh yeah, that's Calgary.
So you were in Calgary, but you told me you were in Edmonton, and I didn't know where you were.
It's not on the plane.
Well, you got on the right one, that's good.
Yay.
Yeah. Anyways, so we started touring around more, and we literally did it on like the shittiest budget. Like we both have multiple jobs. Like to this day,
I have one job.
you make t-shirts sometimes.
Once every
I'm
2
trying
months
to
for one
give you
person.
so much credit here.
$15. Ooh, I'm rolling in it.
Same.
I have 2 jobs. I was like, I work at a craft store.
Okay, so she works at Michael's and gets us crafting discounts. I have 6 writing jobs. So,
Well.
woo.
We use her credit card more.
Yeah, we do. So we started traveling around just like on a budget, living like out of the back of her car, like the shittiest hotels we could find that were the
If it had
cheapest.
4 walls, I was like, yes.
Crashing on anyway. We literally once slept on a friend's porch.
Not on purpose though, it's because he was drunk and asleep.
Yeah, but we had nowhere else to go.
That's true, I did fall asleep.
I once slept on a bench at the foot of the bed because there
You
was
did?
no room for me in the bed. We just traveled around as cheap as we could possibly make it so we could hit as many shows as we could
Why couldn't you fit in the bed, Courtney?
because someone else was.
We used to have a third person, we don't talk about it.
I-
Don't go back and look at the photos, she's awful and terrible.
Here's an abridged version.
Anyway.
She wasn't a very nice friend, so I kicked her out of the girl band. Yeah. So there's only 2 of us. So the more we traveled around, the more it was like we kind of got to use use is the wrong word, but for lack of a better term, we got to use the Drag Race shows as like a point of access to all these different other places and scenes, because we could justify traveling 6, 8, 10 hours to wherever we were going if there was like a big fancy event we were going to, and we could like present tickets at the border and be like, yeah, we're going to see this nice fun thing. But then if there were like 8 local queens we hadn't met yet opening, and we got to go to a party with like a diverse local cast afterwards, that was kind of the best part. So that's not always the case. Sometimes you go and at the end of the Drag Race show, everybody goes home and we're like, cool. But so the more we got to travel around, the more we got to document all kinds of people. And originally, I remember the first few people that I started getting messages from on Instagram about what we were doing, they were kind of like, well, they were kind of only interested in like the Drag Race content, but we were too polite Canadian to film some performers and not others, because that's super fucking rude. So we started filming everybody, and the more that we put everybody up, the more we started getting messages being like, oh, I discovered this artist who is actually from around where I lived because you posted about them and I didn't know, and now we chat online, and that kind of thing. So that was really cool, because it kind of allowed us to see like what people say you should do versus like what actually had an impact for the people who were following us and wanted to see things from our content, which was really nice. That was probably the first time that we had like feedback we could apply. Yeah, and we just started putting things on Instagram and YouTube. The more we did it and the more we networked. Networking is really important in drag, which like, it's hard because talking to people is difficult sometimes, and the clubs are loud. And
Also, we don't drink.
Also, we don't drink.
Which in the club is really not, it's just.
It's a lot.
There are some people that also don't drink, but the majority of them drink.
Drink a lot.
And
So, which is fine.
Chaos around us, and we're just literally sitting there like, when does this show start?
It's working in nightlife as a person who doesn't drink and also has probably traveled however many millions of hours to get there and is exhausted is a lot, because then we're waiting for the show and everybody else is there for the party, and we feel so bad because we're just like, maybe if we don't make eye contact, no one will bother us. Because when you're also in drag, if I was a 6'7" drag queen and someone went, oh, I want to touch the sparkly person, but I'm scary, they're not really gonna fuck with me, but I'm like the fun size version because I'm 5'4" and my face is at a level they can touch with their hands. So we get fucked with a lot at shows.
Nobody really talks to me because I look scary. She looks like a little elf, so I like to touch her face. I was like, sorry.
I gotta
Good luck with
reevaluate
that.
my aesthetic and get a little meaner, I think. But even though
Yeah, but they don't know initially. They think you look nice, but then
I'm the
they
mean
touch your face and then it's over.
my drag mother made us these cards. My drag mother is Chiffon
Where did
Dior
that come from?
from? Because originally when she made them, she put the mean one under my name.
Oh.
And then she decided that wasn't very nice, so she took it off. I kind of wish she kept it, but. Anyways, the
You
more
could
we
put
started.
friends under mine.
Friend, same period. So the more we started doing it, the more that people kind of took notice of, I guess, the unique combination of things we were doing that nobody else really had all of those boxes ticked. We don't do all of the things anymore. For example,
The gifts ended.
the gifts ended pretty quick. I do
There's
not
no
have time to
time.
make, don't get me wrong, I love these performers, but I'm not handing them a present every time I walked in. We made them handmade things. It was just like a token of appreciation, like I think what you're doing
You
is
used
so.
to make them terrible mugs.
We made them the stupidest shit. Before.
I made them all little lipstick cases with their names on them. I was like, those are going in the garbage immediately.
We made some things though that like they stole the ideas and sold them as merch. Like we
Wow.
made those eye sleeping masks.
Oh yeah, they did steal
And
that.
then PEG was like, those are neat. And the next thing we knew, like all the PEG girls had eye sleeping masks as merch, and we're making thousands of dollars off them, and we were like,
Damn.
sweet. Drag Race also, one year we went to DragCon with autograph books. We like made ourselves these custom bound like yearbooks, and we got all the guests, and it was like local queens, kings, brew girls, random guests from TV, and we put them all in like a yearbook and got them to sign it. And the next year Drag Race popped up and said, get your autograph yearbook. And we were
Damn. We fucked it up again.
the bomber jackets, those were.
Oh yeah, like the little.
Where are they? They're upstairs. I didn't bring
We have Drag Coven bomber jackets, and one of the producers of Drag Race complimented us the one year right before DragCon, and by DragCon they were like, buy your RuPaul's DragCon bomber jacket, and we were like,
Damn!
come on. So anyways, the gifts ended. But the more that we started doing it, we also didn't have any experience in anything we were doing, so photography, videography, social media marketing, like none of it was stuff we'd ever done before. So we kind of had to sit and like learn on the fly and originally improving, well, still honestly, improving any of our, the tools we
Technology.
actually need, the technology we actually need, it's all out of pocket. Like, we're not, the project does not
Except for
get
that
funded
laptop that
itself.
time.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't happening. And that is like the only thing, like, I can like get away with like using a different camera or one that's like I have that's still broken, but it's like the laptop is like the only way to like edit or put things up. So I was like, well, we need this.
That's where it's very lucky. That's where I feel very grateful that over time we've built enough of a following that like people are willing to do things like subscribe to a Patreon, because that makes a difference when things like our hard drive with 3 years of content crash and erases all of the photos that we need. So, but it took a long time to get to that point, because originally if we were just producing, you know, garbage shots that anybody could take, people didn't really care about it that much, but we really put our all into like continuing to do this and learn more about it. And like, so I do the videography, Jamie does the photography, and occasionally it swaps up, but not usually. But like, it was even learning the teeny tiny things of like specifically what flies on social media and what doesn't. For example, originally we were just slapping videos on YouTube kind of for like our own memories and like not thinking that this was something people would want to watch or that it was something that would like enrich the scene or anything like that. So we would just slap them up, and in the background it was us singing and giggling and talking shit with the queens, and they'd make fun of us, and we'd be yelling through the whole back. I have the world's most annoying laugh. And that still kind of makes it into the videos occasionally.
I was like, you haven't really toned that down a lot.
Because we were just doing it for fun, and we still do it for fun, but like now I know that like if I'm intending to post something where like either someone might watch it or the queen might want to use it for something, or sometimes
Instead of you blatantly being like, this is great, you're like,
This is great.
yeah, I'll like lean into Jamie and make a
Well,
comment
that makes
rather
a
than be like,
difference.
this is hilarious, and shrieking and the camera's bumping, and so I had to like, basically my learning curve was calm the fuck down in the moment.
again, that's not really, you're not really putting a lot of effort in. Nope,
Sometimes.
moving along, you have no argument. Watch the video from yesterday of Mary Cherry's number.
Oh my god.
Screaming.
I still can't hear out of my left ear because does
It
everybody
was-
know Mary Cherry?
It was screaming goats.
Do you know
she had screaming
the
goats
mix
in
on
her mix.
YouTube that's Taylor Swift and then it goes, I knew you were trouble when you walked in, but instead of Taylor Swift singing, it's the goat screaming?
Right.
So she performed that, but I was standing at
The speakers.
and they have it turned up so loud, so much louder than the first day. And I have seen Mary do this in videos before, so I don't know why I didn't clue in that I should
You're like,
fucking
ooh,
move.
nice Taylor Swift song.
And it suddenly just goes, in this, and I was like, and I could not hear our friend was sitting on the one side of me yesterday and had to say my name 3 times because it was just like a muffled ringing and I couldn't hear at all.
You also can't hear.
I also don't hear
normally,
well on the best of days.
so that's not good.
I'll be deaf by 40. Yeah, occupational hazards. But anyway, so it was a learning curve, and Jamie's done a lot of learning how to use the cameras better. We've gotten better cameras.
I do the Lightroom now.
We
Because-
didn't originally edit our photos.
Oh no, I just threw those suckers up there. I was like, there they are.
We do now.
There it is.
We edit now.
Go for it.
We got us a
Well-
light nudge in the right direction from a couple of very well-meaning drag queens with large followings who wanted better photos
Okay,
in
listen,
their
here's the
tag.
thing. Here's the thing as well. Here's the problem with that. That's what they look like. That's their problem. I don't have time to edit their lace out. Maybe they should clean it.
I don't like the nice ones.
It's not my problem. What was I? Oh, at the beginning when